It's the last quarter of 2000. Alice is a junior at a strict Midwest co-ed Catholic high school where a very discipline-oriented teacher named Mrs. Vida scrutinizes every last detail of the student's appearance. She is inquisitive but sexually inexperienced. Alice is a very naive girl inside the school grounds who has cravings and a curiosity to know everything going on around her. In their morality lesson, Father Murphy reminds students that all sexual action is not geared toward reproduction. Marriage between heterosexuals is a sin that will result in eternal suffering. He continues by saying that anything done for selfish gain is likewise sinful because it prevents the creation of progeny. After both her father Murphy and her best friend Laura make her feel ashamed of him, Alice finds it difficult to accept her burgeoning sexual cravings. Alice and her parents go back to their house after school. She munches on some goodies while sitting in front of her computer, cuddling with her dog. She launches the AOL online chat program on her computer. She receives a private email from user Harry Chess 1956 while she is on the website, which includes some graphic photographs of him having sex with his wife. Alice initially shuts off the monitor after being startled by the images. Later, though, curiosity overcome, she begins to scroll through the images. After some time, the user contacts her once more and inquires about her age, sex, and location. Alice responds to his text from a 22-year-old sexy woman in Iowa. The boy then requests a picture. Alice sends her friend's picture, looking a little frightened. After commenting on how gorgeous she is after seeing her photo, the user begins sexting her. Since she is unfamiliar with the majority of the words the user is using in their communication, Alice examines each message with interest. The user asks her whether she is touching herself while sending her another naked image. Alice tries to feel something weird with her hand tucked inside her skirt out of curiosity. Alice's mother calls her for dinner as she enters the house. She quickly closes the monitor and heads into the kitchen. Alice and Laura were having lunch the next Monday when one of their classmates, Beth, approached them and said that she couldn't believe that Alice had dumped Wade's salad into Laura's party. She also says that there's a rumor going around the school that Alice threw a classmate named Wade in a salad at a party over the weekend. Alice disputes this claim while acknowledging ignorance of the phrase's meaning. Beth informs the other girls about the spiritual excursion she took over the weekend and then joins them for lunch. Alice immediately pulls off the top of a chocolate filling and begins to suck it. The boys seated next to her lunch table started laughing. Heather and Wade also approach Alice and slam her as having dirty brains. After learning about the rumors, Mrs. Vida prevents Alice from serving. Alice confesses her venial offenses to Father Murphy in class. She receives a light punishment of Tony prayers, which she immediately and truly says in the skull later that day at the sacrament of her constellation. She can hear the words and sex of Mrs. Vader and Chapel Father Murphy in her thoughts. Laura and Alice both decide to go to the upcoming Kirkus retreat at the school. Laura wants to be accepted by Nina, a popular senior, and Alice wants to return to the road of virtue. Therefore, they both want to join. When they go to the retreat campgrounds, Laura is thrilled to learn that Nina is a retreat leader, and Alice notices Chris, a handsome senior football player who is also a retreat leader. Alice is discovered to be a member of Nina's gang, and she follows Nina to their own rooms. Nina asks her to give her her phone and any other devices, if any, after showing her the room. Alice doesn't give her her phone. She only gives her the watch. Alice is shown in the following scene participating at a gathering in a hall where Father Murphy begins to explain that they have been chosen by God. He continues by saying that the vacation might possibly change their lives. Chris is amiable and eager, and after Alice is put in his group, they start to get along. Murphy provides them the paperwork and instructs them to circle the emotion they have been experiencing since the previous year. Alice circled the term "turned on," as well as all of her other emotions. She tries to remove the circle that has been turned on after the timer expires but is unsuccessful. After marking the word with a pencil, she submits the document. Nina then makes an extremely moving statement on how she believed her family had ignored her. Everyone gathers around her and hugs her tenderly. Alice unintentionally learns how to enjoy herself with her phone's vibrating feature while playing on her illegal cell phone that evening. However, she quickly turns away to stare at the cross that hangs in her chamber. All of the kids leave for a hike in the forest on the second day of their retreat. Alice fakes an injury to approach Chris after seeing him assist a girl who tripped over a stone. Chris picking her up and bringing her to the nurse makes her feel incredibly good. Meanwhile, Alice's phone starts to vibrate and Nina takes it away. Alice is given cleaning responsibilities around the retreat house as punishment after Nina informs her father Murphy that she was hiding her phone. Alice gets right to cleaning up, and while doing so, she finds a computer in Father Murphy's room. When she is alone herself, she uses the computer in Father Murphy's office to access the Aola chat room and inquires about the meaning of tossing the salad. She quickly turns off the computer and exits before she can learn anything due to the sound of footsteps. However, when Alice runs into Nina, she is lightly guilted over her alleged sexual contact with Wayne. She continues by saying that she is not upset with her for hiding her phone and that she is making the correct changes. Father Murphy meets everyone later that evening and reads the letters the students' family members had sent. Chris calls his group members on the third day of the retreat and invites them to share any regrets they may have. Everyone expresses their regrets, but Alice has nothing to say and instead makes up a false narrative about her dog dying. Later, in the cafeteria, Father Murphy discloses that he found an explicit chat on his computer and requests the offender to take responsibility. He continues by saying that God is keeping an eye on them and will punish the guilty. Alice feels a little uneasy after hearing this, but she keeps her actions to herself. The pupils are seen lining up outside Father Murphy's office in the next scene. Murphy questions Alice about her relationship with God as she enters his office. When she responds that everything is going great, Murphy asks her why she circled the word to dawn and if she is still feeling it. Alice responds that she had that emotion earlier but doesn't have it anymore. Later, he prods Alice to admit to succumbing to weighty sexual temptations since he doesn't accept her denials. Alice is cleaning the cafeteria when Wade enters. The leaders around Alice question Wade about his unkempt behavior and how he contributed to the allegations by refusing to refute them. Murphy shows up and brings Wade with him to the scene. Wade departs without acknowledging his error or offering an apology. Alice, who is cleaning, sees Nina kissing another senior leader in the woods after that. Alice, who is close, is horrified to witness that, but she uses a mop handle between her thighs to help her fantasize about it. She almost gets caught performing the act and tells Laura about it, but Laura doesn't think she has Dean as her hero. She calls Alice a pervy maniac and accuses her of breaking into Father Murphy's office, breaking off their friendship. Wade gets blamed for the earlier break-in when Alice returns to Father Murphy's office and slides his bracelet under the keyboard. She hides behind a storeroom to get away as she hears Father Murphy coming. In addition, she observes Father Murphy masturbating while watching a pornographic film that was saved on his computer. She covers her eyes and turns around, repulsed by the scene. Chris, who she encounters outdoors, asks her if she's all right. He also insisted on chatting to her since he wanted to cheer her up. Chris flees as Alice gives him a passionate kiss after finding herself alone with him. Alice runs away to campgrounds where everyone is reciting the prayer after discovering she is alone that night. Alice finds a lesbian club and commiserates with the owner Gina about how the fear of hell might affect adolescent development. Alice questions Gina as to why everyone puts up a false front in order to win favor with others and conceal their true selves. For a while, they converse about something different, which causes Alice to feel happier once more. Gina eventually offers to drive her back to the retreat while advising Alice to research universities on the west and east coasts. Alice approaches Gina to inquire about the significance of tossing someone's salad before she leaves. Tina explains to her that the phrase's true meaning is licking someone's butthole. On the retreat's final day, both parties end up laughing before Gina departs. While Father Murphy was working out, Alice met a shy pupil. When Wade's wristband is found next to the computer and he is detained for the incident involving the graphic discussion, Laura makes up with Alice. She also lets her know that Wade is gay and that the rumor about Alice tossing salad with him was made up. Wade apologizes to God for all of his horrifying acts during a group sharing session while hiding his true identity. Alice then moves forward to make a statement. Alice warns the retreat participants that everyone has a secret and implores them to treat one another with respect and candor, just as Jesus did. She encourages everyone to embrace who they are and to have fun. Chris is still uneasy, so Alice reassures him that they can just be friends when they get back to school. Alice freely discloses that she's seen a video of people having sexual relations as she attempts to make amends with Father Murphy. She discusses the details of the sex tape she found Father Murphy watching on the retreat. Both of them are aware of the repercussions of her revelation, but they choose not to talk about them. Alice exits the chapel and returns home, despite Father Murphy's more demanding penance of 100 prayers. When she gets home, she watches the Titanic videotape and fast-forwards to the passionate exchange between Jack and Rose. She finds a vibrator nearby and tries to enjoy the romantic scenario to herself. She is delighted to see the vibrator. Here the movie ends. Hit subscribe for the best movie recap.